What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we the people choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Do you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
The FBI met with Igor Danchenko for 3 years while he was a confidential human source for the FBI. They could have been asking all these questions. But as I've said from the beginning, the FBI is smart enough to know the questions they don't want answers to, because they didn't want their investigation to be shut down. And that's what they did. They Strzok, Page, Comey, all those people failed on purpose to set forth specific questions because they knew the answers would kill the Russiagate investigation, because they would have no credibility for their source verification process, and they would have no fundamental facts upon which to go to the FISA court. That was their end goal. They engineered a crime and worked in reverse. And then they went out there, as we'll talk about, and offered up bounties to people with information. It is a shocking abuse of the law and a total breakdown of the FISA application process before the FISC.
I think as a former federal prosecutor and a public defender who defended a lot of these types of cases, what you need to show is whether or not the FBI and government agents were using undercover operatives and informants on the day of January 6th, because if you can show that, you know they've been out. Hang on. But the paperwork shows having run informants, that's a 6-month buildup. Minimum. Right. Minimum. It's not like they just dropped them into the Proud Boys and said, hey, go, don't disrupt, please. So once you prove that, then you defeat the insurrection narrative with the FBI's own documentation. Forget what the videotape shows.
But do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, believe this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators. Because we're actually going to use the Constitution to prosecute them for crimes they said we have always been guilty of, but never have.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the left is freaking out, and some people on the right are freaking out. So today what I wanted to do, everyone's talking about Kash Patel, and everyone's saying it's a great pick, and except for the people on the left, of course. But what I want to do is just give you some background on who Kash Patel actually is. Because you're going to hear two things over and over and over from the left and from rhinos. You're going to hear people say, like it's a bad thing, that he's a loyalist. I don't know wherever you've worked, but I pretty much wanted people loyal to me, loyal to the team, loyal to the company, to work with me. I didn't want somebody who is, I could view as had the capacity to put a knife in my back. So that's pretty stupid when people say, well, he's picking loyalists. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Number two, the other argument that you're constantly going to hear, oh, he's got no experience. Yeah, well, let me just tell you, they're full of crap on both of those points. Of course he's a loyalist, and of course he has the experience. Now, I personally believe that this will never see a confirmation hearing. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold, so I'm going to fight through it today. I think most of his picks are going to have to just go through the recess appointment. If he gets a recess appointment, you can pretty much do 210 days, and then you can renew it if you do it again. So you can have like 420 days, because he's going to have to sniff out the opposition. There's no doubt that he's going to have to sniff out the opposition. Now, many of us have called what Trump has put together thus far the Avengers. And we've all seen who the Avengers are. RFK Jr., Tulsi, Elon, Vivek, J.D. Vance, on and on. But the part, if you've ever seen the movie The Avengers and what the last one was all about, it was about fighting Thanos because you needed to get that Infinity Stone. And right now, I firmly believe that Kash Patel is the Infinity Stone. He's what makes all of this work. Everything that Trump is putting together is what makes this work. Because their biggest fear that they keep saying to everybody over and over and over again is Trump is going to go after his political opponents. They're using that as a cudgel. They're trying to brainwash people into thinking Trump is going after his political opponents. When in reality, Trump is going to go after people who broke the law. I mean, we've heard it for a year and a half. Hey, nobody's above the law, right? Nobody. Well, we're about to find out. You effed around, and now you're about to find out that nobody is above the law. I don't care if you're an opponent. I don't care if you're in the media. If you broke the law, they're going to come after you. You don't get a shield by saying, hey, you can't come after me. We're political opponents, and we're the media. No. If you broke the law, they're going to come after you. You just needed someone who needed to be the tip of the spear, who was willing to look into all this. So what you're going to hear over the course of this show is a bunch of stuff that proves that Trump and everybody else are looking to go after these crimes. And I'm going to start with something that Trump posted today. It's no longer breaking news, so I won't use the breaking news sound here. But just to give you a further idea, Trump has named Massad Boulos, and he will serve as his senior advisor to the president on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs. Massad is an accomplished lawyer and a highly respected leader in the business world, with extensive experience on the international scene. He has been a longtime proponent of Republican and conservative values, an asset to my campaign, and was instrumental in building tremendous new coalitions with the Arab American community. Massad is a deal maker and an unwavering supporter of peace capitalized in the Middle East. He will be a strong advocate for the United States and its interests, and I am pleased to have him on our team. Great. You guys know who Mossad Boulos is? Well, if you haven't heard, let me be the one to tell you. He is Tiffany Trump's father-in-law. She is married to his son. So like we saw yesterday with the appointment of Jared Kushner's father, now he's just basically nominated, his father-in-law or his in-laws. What Trump is doing, anybody can see, you cannot at this point have any wavering doubt as to what's happening. He is making a very, very, very close-knit circle of people that he can trust. Family members, loyalists to America, not necessarily Trump. They're loyal patriots, people who have watched what have happened for the last 4 or 5, 6 years, especially with the lawfare. These people are patriots, and they are loyal to the Constitution first and foremost. And that's who Trump is picking. People who will not waver, who know what the task is here, and understand that this man, and this is something that's really funny. We keep hearing these people talk about, Kash Patel's going to dismantle the whole FBI. Well, I guess you didn't listen to Trump over the campaign. He, despite what a lot of people in the media are trying to say, he does indeed have a mandate. He won the popular vote. He won the electoral vote. It was a veritable landslide. So yes, he is going to do what he's been saying for the last 24 months. Why are you surprised? Did you think he was lying, or are you just used to Democrats lying? Because Trump said, and I've played the speech, I am going to obliterate the deep state. Did you think he was kidding? I'm just wondering. Did you think he was kind of making it up? You took a shot at him. You put him in jail, basically. You went after him with felonious BS over and over in different states. 34 felony counts you went after him. You made up some woman in a closet in some mall. It is bad. It's as bad as the PP tape. It was all made up. And you don't think this man is even a little bit pissed off? You don't know him then. You don't know Donald Trump if you don't realize what's coming. And that's why these people are pissed off, because now he's got the tip of the spear ready to go. Kash Patel knows where the bodies are buried. And you're going to hear a lot about that right now. In case you haven't seen his past, now you're going to get to see who he is. But, I can just show you, he just joined Twitter, so he's going to be very transparent. He literally joined today and has got 154,000 followers. But you can just look at this brief resume. Former Chief of Staff for the Department of Defense. Deputy Director of National Intel, led Russiagate probe. Former public defender, tried over 60 cases. Founder of the Kash Foundation and a former DOJ prosecutor. So the man's got the chops. There's no doubt. I have a longer, I'm not going to read it all because, my God, it's long. Jack Pozo put together basically a curriculum vitae here. It's huge. I don't know if Grok wrote it or not, but this thing, I'll repost it later on and you see it. It's probably 1,000 words just telling you all of his background. But he's been all over the place. He's done so much. And for them to be saying he doesn't have the chops, you're lying. So let's continue getting to know Kash Patel.
But when do you believe the FBI figured out that all of this was just one political campaign trying to take down another?
I think they knew right away in the documents that we put out in the Nunes investigation, the Nunes memo, and the HIPSI report on Russian active measures show that the FBI knew right away, because their FISA abuse process, now that declassification process is complete and your viewers can read it, that the FBI knew the information was fraudulent. They knew the credibility problems with Christopher Steele, and they knew the DNC through Fusion GPS and Perkins Coie were piping in tens of millions of dollars into the machine so that they could get up a FISA warrant on President Trump. So I think they knew right away, which is why why I think the individuals at the head of the FBI need to be held accountable. Look out for indictments against the folks like Fusion GPS and Glenn Simpson for helping perpetuate this fraud. And look out for individuals like Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. I believe they're already helping John Durham. They're cooperating with him to get the bigger fish like the Andy McCabe, who is the biggest fraudster next to James Comey. I think you're going to see these indictments start coming out on the individuals at the top. It's just going to take a few more months, but I remind your viewers, it takes a little bit of time to work.
So he had, this is from, I should have had the date. This is from years ago. He was bringing up those names that you now see on CNN talking crap about him. He had these people set in his sights years ago. No wonder they're afraid. He's been watching you, Lisa Page, Strzok, McCabe. He's been watching you for years. So of course you're going to be freaked out because you hear what he has to say.
These matters. This is a perfect example of the hypocrisy of the Biden administration. Their call for unity is a joke. If you start with what we started this conversation with, Strzok and Kleinsmith, I'm sure Kleinsmith's on his way to getting a presidential pardon, and maybe he'll be the next attorney general. There's one set of rules for them, and there's a different set of rules for us. Now, turning to the Defense Department, that's a great example. And you just named two individuals. Chris Miller and I appointed, scores of individuals, maybe hundreds, as we're entitled to the defense boards that help advise the Defense Department from business, innovation, science, technology, and policy. Now, here's the kicker, Maria. These appointments were all signed by Secretary of Defense Chris Miller. They are a legal standing order that is being actually ignored. And I'll give you one worse example, Maria. I was actually sworn in to the Defense Policy Board. And I received an email from the White House Liaison Office, which is a group of small people that represent the White House at the Defense Department for the Biden administration, that said, even though you were sworn in, we are pausing your onboarding process.
So when everybody says this guy's he doesn't have the chops, he doesn't have the experience, you can just send him this video. Because during this video, you're going to hear him go deep into some of the stuff that he knows, which that's the reason why they're actually afraid. He knows way too much.
I don't know where they get the constitutional ground to do that or the gall, but this call for unity is garbage. And I'll give you one stark example that struck me on my way out of the Pentagon. They terminated my employees who were on paternity and maternity leave because they were appointees by President Trump. If we did that, that would be a travesty of justice, and it would be an internal investigation for months, if not years to come. How can you terminate the employment of someone who has taken maternity or paternity leave to take care of their newborn? It is simply outrageous conduct, and this call for unity is garbage.
Now, before I get to this next piece, a lot of what's going to happen with Trump and Kash Patel and RFK, with all of them, they're going to use precedent. They're going to use everything that the Biden administration has already done. Oh, you can fire people at will? Doesn't matter if they're pregnant? Maternity leave? Doesn't matter. Okay. Got it. Thank you for setting that precedent. Meaning we can go in and clear out everybody. You understand at this point that what Biden did in his 4 years, and when Kamala was watching, is they broke all kinds of rules and they set legal precedent. And so now you've got all this stuff sitting here where, okay, they did it. Thanks for opening the door. We're going to get it done.
Accuse us of every single thing they are doing. They try to imprison our great leader illegally time and time again. They raid our houses of worship. They tell us where our children can go to school and what they should learn. Well, I don't know about you, but I want our future generation to know history, math, and economics. I don't want them to know gender fluidity at the age of 10. We have the greatest leader the Coliseum has built, and Donald J. Trump is our champion. He is our juggernaut of justice. But we have to marshalize behind them because we have the truth.
We have the truth. I remember Trump saying something years ago. We have it all. We have it all. And he wasn't able to use it because he caught too much opposition. That hasn't changed. He has it all. And like Kash Patel just said, we're going after the truth. We all know it. You didn't allow us to use it. You blocked us at every turn because the wrong people were in charge, and lawsuit and impeachments and everything else. Everything under the sun you used to make sure that we didn't get the truth out to people. And that truth is going to be kind of, you better be prepared for it. Better pray over it. When you find out how disgustingly dishonest our American government has been, it's going to make your skin crawl. They've got it all. He's had it all. He still has it all. And now he's putting together the team to light it up. RFK Jr. is going to blow the doors off of pharmaceutical and all kinds of different things that they've been put into people's food. Wait till you hear all of that. Actually, you don't have to wait. Go to your pantry, pick up something, and look at the ingredients. And tell me the ones you can't pronounce, what the hell they do to you. The ones you can't pronounce, what are they? Why are they even needed in this bag or whatever? When you hear all these different things and find out what's in the stuff that you're eating, the one thing, I guess I can say, the one thing I'm concerned about is going to be too much information. We're going to be like, oh my God, this food sucks. Oh, we don't need this medicine. Oh, we don't need to do this. This has been just something you've hoist upon us. We know, I got to be very careful here. We know there's been an effort to decrease the amount of people on this planet. I said that nicely, so I won't get in trouble. But you understand what I'm talking about. It got to a point where they felt, hey, there's too many people tipping this rock we live on. We need to get less people on this rock. What do? Wait till all that comes out. It's not just about the jabademic. The jabademic was something on steroids. That was just, hey, let's speed it up. But the long-term stuff, and all those people who nodded along and just let it happen, from fluoride, and now he's saying we're going to take that out, to chemtrails, all kinds of stuff. You're going to find out and go, what in the hell has my country been doing to me? And how come even the Republicans went along with it? Oh, I'll tell you why. Wait till that gets released. There's a reason why these people are really worried about what Trump's going to do, because right now Trump is in a position where he feels, I don't give a F. I played along with your stupid games, and then you tried to put me in jail, take away my money, take away my property, then try to kill me a couple times. You effed around, now you're going to find out, and the rest of the American people are going to find out as well. And you've got a guy like Kash Patel who's ready to tell that story.
The magnitude I didn't think could get bigger than Russiagate, but now we are, it seems like we're doing Russiagate 2.0. As I've said before, all roads lead back to Russiagate. If President Trump decides to run again, these are attacks now on a presidential candidate like Russiagate was.
So, you know, in the last episode, you're on record as saying that this whole thing is on par with Watergate.
It's worse. I think this entire situation makes Watergate look like the teacup ride at Disney World. We had political operatives break into a building to steal information, which is 100% criminal, and people were prosecuted, and rightly so. Now you have a 6-year saga of criminal activity from Russiagate to the raid. And it's the same people at the FBI and DOJ who started and launched Russiagate that are now supervising and doing the Mar-a-Lago raid, the search warrant. And
did you know that? I didn't know that. I did not know that the same people who were involved in Russiagate were also involved in the raid at Mar-a-Lago. Did not know that. How could that possibly be? How could these people still be in office and in power? But somehow they were. And now, just like the people with Watergate, some people are going to have to answer some questions. Some deep, dark questions that they've somehow been able to keep people away from for the last 6-7 years.
And the efforts to take down a president. So it's just an extension of that. And the mainstream media is covering it and applauding it because they want one thing: for Trump never to run again. It's not all roads lead back to Russiagate just because it's the same people, but because the same people are trying to bury the same information. And it's been reported in the press since we did our last show, which I called before that this same crew of counterintelligence guys at FBI and DOJ want to hide from the public the 40% of documents that Devin and I found during Russiagate, but were unable to get out to the public.
I heard that, and I went, whoa, how much? You got 40% of the documents that show things, and you couldn't get it out to the public before? You got all these documents? Oh yeah, they got a whole bunch of documents. I saw this earlier today. Let me see if I can show you this. This will make your head spin. Some of the stuff on what I'm going to show you right now, I can't even pronounce, because if I do, people upstairs. So you're going to have to read along. I don't think people realize what Kash Patel will do as FBI director. Client list number 1 is going to get released. The party list is going to get released. Deep state criminals indicted. That 4th one about moving people around from different countries for certain reasons, dismantled. This is going to be biblical. I want you to look at that. Look at that list real quick. And you see how big those lists are, meaning lots and lots and lots of people involved for many, many years. And we know there's 300,000-400,000 kids missing. In addition to that guy's list and the other guy's list, how many people do you think in our government, never mind celebrities and Hollywood and everything else, how many people in our government are on some of these lists that they've been able to keep quiet for years, probably decades, that these people have been doing certain things to certain people over and over and over? You think Harvey Weinstein was bad? You think Bill Cosby was the only one doing what he was doing? Oh, you got another thing coming. The names on these lists, and these lists by themselves, could cause people to disappear. Their livelihoods, their integrity, their freedom is now going to be at peril because of what Trump and Kash Patel are planning to do. And don't think for an instant, because people might be thinking, hey, they were going to have a big shredding party at the FBI. They might get rid of all this stuff. No. They already have it. He said, I have it all. Everything on that list, people have known about. It's not new. The guy with the island over there just wasn't doing it while Trump was there. They've been doing it for years. So obviously, the spooks have had the names and probably videos of people doing all kinds of crazy things. What do you think is going to happen when that gets released? Yeah, you're probably going to have people jumping out of windows. You're going to probably have people taking off, getting out. I have no doubt that's what will happen. But it needs to come out. As we know, the woman who was working with the guy who had the island, she got arrested for doing what? For procuring goods for who? How could you have one half without having the other half? If there's goods that you're procuring and you got arrested and put in jail for procuring said goods, who took the goods? Who were the people that basically did the transaction? Nobody has, not one person. I've been watching lately, and I love me some Dan Bongino. But lately, there's been a bunch of people asking questions. Hey man, when you were a Secret Service agent for Obama, did you see anything? Now, I am not at all tarnishing Dan, because we know the power that these people have. These people could have come to him and said, listen, if you ever ever, ever, ever say anything, or if we even think you say something, these people you know and love may not be here anymore. So I'm not passing judgment on anybody. This is the kind of stuff that will make people disappear. This is the kind of stuff that when you hear it, they're going to be people you know, but name value. You're going to know exactly who these people are. And I can't imagine what is going to happen, what these people are capable of doing. They've been hidden. They've gotten their way. They've done whatever they wanted. And now Kash Patel, he's the one that's going to be stepping in and going, look what I got.
The documents that President Trump declassified while he was president of the United States. And now we see reporting in the media that that was one of the reasons, if not the main reason, for this raid to occur. So I tell the audience, stay tuned. I called it long ago that all roads begin and end with Russiagate. And I think we're going to be proven right here on Kash's Corner. This is the modern day version of Watergate. Except the only difference is it wasn't political operatives breaking in to their opponent's headquarters. It was the FBI and DOJ busting in to the home of their political opponents. And if
all right, so what he's saying there is that the reason they had to go to Mar-a-Lago is because it wasn't a raid, it was a cleanup operation. You see, they went looking through the files once Biden took over. And, hey, man, everything's not here. What do you mean everything's not here? It's gone. Who's got it? I don't know. We need to get down to Palm Beach and kick in the doors and see if he's got it hidden somewhere. They got it all. They couldn't find it. They couldn't find what they were looking for. That's why they went through Melania's underwear drawer. That's why they went through all Barron stuff. They're looking for not secret documents, the ultimate secret documents. The secret documents that are going to unlock everything that's been going on in Washington, D.C. for decades. That's the documents that they're looking for that they couldn't find. And now they couldn't dare. This is the important part. They couldn't dare put that on a search warrant. Hey, we're looking for that guy's list of all the clients that people went to on the island, Your Honor. I can't put that on a list because people would then know. So we're looking for archives, stuff that he took that he shouldn't have taken. Okay, what? Picture of Lincoln in them. What? What was so important that you had to go down there and raid an ex-president's residence? What exactly was it? Well, they couldn't tell you. They still haven't told us. But we all know. And Kash Patel, again, is the tip of that spear.
Play out the way we think, then a lot of people are going to be held accountable, just like they were rightfully so for the violations along Watergate at the highest levels of government. And I think that people will criticize that analogy, but I can't think of a better way to encapsulate it for the American public, because that's one they can all relate to, and it was egregious then. It was a gross violation of the law by the highest levels of the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the White House. So with the FBI, I do agree it's fixable. I think you shut down the Hoover building immediately. I think you literally opening it up the next day as a museum of the deep state. And you let everybody walk the halls for free and leave that behemoth open 365 days a year. You need like 20 people in a skiff to run the FBI.
You need 20 people in a skiff to run the FBI. Of course that's going to have people running around with their hair on fire. What in the hell did he just say? Are they planning on firing all these people? Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, well, let me see if I can find some of this stuff here. John Rich was saying this earlier. The deep state is pooping its collective pants right now, knowing Kash Patel is set to be the FBI director. Get back, Jack. The real McCoys are riding back into town. Oh, it's going to be biblical. It's absolutely going to be biblical at this point. Poso, who's got some contacts in there, says tons of current FBI field agents are quietly pulling for Kash. They know HQ needs fixing, and he's got the chops to do it. But if they speak out, HQ will come down on them, per multiple federal agents and officials. You see, it exists to be that monolith that it is because of the threats they can put on certain people. They're threatening their own people. If you say something, we're going to come down on you. Why? Because we know your dirt. We know all the dirt on everybody. And if you have done some dirt, we're going to uncover it and burn you. And so they have to be quiet too, which is a horrible, horrible way to work. You go into your job every single day knowing somebody's watching something, listening to something, and they're going to use whatever they can find to keep you captive. And now you've got some guy walking in going, yeah, they're doing it, and we're going to let you know.
7,000 agents that are sitting in that building should be chasing criminals around America, not distorting statistics about January 6th so Chris Wray can go to Congress and lie and say domestic violent terrorism is on the rise.
Why do we have to have an FBI? I mean, I understand because somebody's got Bonnie and Clyde cross state lines, you know, but beyond that, why do we have, we've nationalized a lot of state crimes. Yes. Bank robbery is a state crime. Why has it suddenly just been, no, FBI will take care of that?
And that's sort of it's a lethargic slide to that. One of the things I call out in the book is Republican state attorney generals. They have 26 or 27 of the states in this country. Why aren't any one of them prosecuting, for example, any one of Hunter Biden's crimes that happened in their state?
What do you think crossfire?
Great question. We've got 26 or 27 Republican attorney generals throughout the country. And they do nothing, absolutely nothing, to stop this stuff. Which means people probably have stuff on them as well. You see, this goes so deep, so many layers. When Soros was putting these people in office and giving money to both sides, by the way, when Fox and all these news channels were, supporting certain things, and you thought that Rupert Murdoch ran the show, but then it's his liberal sons. Today, just this morning, I watched the 3 hours. Well, I didn't watch. I have it taped so I can go pretty fast. Of Fox and Friends. And I tweeted it, posted it earlier on X and said, I went through 3 hours of Fox and Friends this morning. There was nothing about Kash Patel. It's the biggest story in news. There is no bigger story as of right now than the Kash Patel appointment. And they're talking about some dog that got lost in a field and a deer who jumped over the lady. And are you serious? Fox? Nothing? Nothing? And so I tweeted and I called or posted it to Will McCain. I'm like, dude, your credibility is effed right now. You just sat there and ignored the biggest story in news right now. There is no bigger story. Even CNN led off their newscast with the Kash Patel. Of course, they trashed him. MSNBC, they led off their thing with Kash Patel. Fox, you're talking about sleep habits. You're talking about being upset during the Christmas season, and they completely ignored Kash Patel. That tells you a lot. Should tell you a lot. You should realize at this point, they are just agents for the deep state as well. They'll tell you at least as much as you need to know, and then that's about it. Today, they didn't even mention it. Now, I'm sure tomorrow, Hannity will be talking about it. I'm sure Jesse will be talking about it. It'll be on the 5. But that's 2 days removed. Everybody knows about it now. You didn't even lead your broadcast with it. You got stuff like this happening. Dinesh D'Souza, I'm hearing about mass resignations at DOJ, FBI. These are a sign of panic in the police state. There were mass desertions from the Nazi regime following World War II. The hunters have now become the hunted. This is a big step towards the Nazification of our government. Rats are scurrying. The rats can see what's about to happen. And what the rats are doing, they're talking to each other. Are we covered? What do you mean? He's got it all. So he oh shit, I gotta bounce. Yeah, you better find a country that doesn't have, where they can ship you back and forth. Oh yeah, you're gonna see a lot of people just disappear. Heard George Clooney on television. Actually, it was a story about George Clooney, and he was talking about, hey man, y'all set me up. They're right now, everybody's like doing this kind of stuff. Another big name star, Alyssa Milano. I'm out. Oh, where are you going? Oh, you're quitting Twitter X as well. We're seeing all kinds of departures happening, and the news hasn't even happened. We haven't even been told who some of these people are. It's going to be biblical.
A hurricane, based on everything that you gleaned, that you can talk about, what do you think it was all about?
I think it started out as someone trying to look into whether or not there was any foul play, which I think at the premise of it is what the FBI is supposed to do and the IC is supposed to do. So,
okay, that's important. The premise was to look and see if there was foul play, meaning somebody had to open an investigation to see, if there was something there. That's what the FBI is supposed to do. Exactly. So, as the director of the FBI, we're going to need to look into things to see if there was, quote, any foul play. If there's no foul play, then you had nothing to worry about. But when we start peeling the layers back, they're going to find a whole lot. Oh, where's this money go to? Oh, where's that? Who owns this company? How did Nancy Pelosi make $100 million? Oh, these layers are going to be deep. They're going to be completely intertwined. And I'm not even talking about the list of the clients. I'm just talking about stuff that you can just go a little bit and go, did you know that most of the money sent to Ukraine never gets to Ukraine? Most of it stays here with different people within the military industrial complex. You don't think they're going to look, where'd this money go? Here's where it landed. How did it get dispersed? All of this is way before the lists, the various lists. Now you're seeing why they're really, really worried about Kash Patel and how deep this wormhole can possibly go. It's way beyond anything you're going to hear on television. You really have to go back, when I pulled these tapes, you have to go back 6 and 7 years to see where the beginning dig started happening. And then when they hit concrete because of all the people that were pushing Trump away. There's a reason why the Russiagate happened. There's a reason why they had to keep impeaching him. They had to move things away. There's a reason why Adam Kissinger and Liz Cheney, they're going to find all this out now. There's no more impediment. There's nothing else that you can put in the way other than, taking him out again. But this goes back. Y'all ready for this? I don't think you are. This goes back to 1963 and 1968. Let that sink in for a minute. When all these files and all these things start getting looked into, this country has a lot of deep, dark, nasty secrets. In 1963, with JFK, oh, by the way, that's RFK Jr.'s uncle, and in 1968, when they took out RFK's father, and then JFK, which everyone has said has been a conspiracy theory, that's because nobody looked. I don't know. I am not even intimating that something untoward happened with JFK Jr. I'm just saying nobody really looked. You can go back and listen. Oh yeah, his plane was flying upside down and boom. Okay, well, what happened? Where was the plane? Did you rip it apart and look at all these things? Oh, that's secret. Why would that be secret? So many secrets that this government has kept. And in order to understand why they're worried about Kash Patel, that's why I had to do a deep dive. So you can go way back and start thinking all the questions you had that this government has done.
I think it's an original origin. That's probably where it started. I think where it metastasized to was based very quickly by a select few people was this is the vehicle by which we're going to target a presidential campaign, and we're going to allow the other campaign to fund the information we'd inject into the intelligence community and into the FISA court so that we can surveil someone on that other campaign and maybe get information to dirty them up or take them down. And I think that's just crosses so many lines of wrong and illegal behavior that I'm not sure how we ever let it get that far.
How did we ever let it get that far? That's a great question by itself. Where did it start? Can we pinpoint that time, that map, the timestamp? How did this shit happen? When did we become such a covert run society that none of the secrets could ever come out? Why? If JFK was murdered by some nut job in a book depository and he took a shot, why did the files have to be sealed for like 80 years? What? It's a murder. It's an investigation. Why are they sealed? Did you ever ask yourself that? Why did our government need to seal the files of an investigation of that nature? People have been waiting decades. Hey man, what really happened? What really happened? And then you think to yourself, well, why won't you tell me what really happened? That doesn't make any sense. And then it happens again. And then it happened again. You had 2 in 1968. Actually 3 if you count Malcolm. You got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and RFK. You don't know nothing. You know nothing because that's what they made it happen that way. They made it so that you wouldn't have any information. And your parents who've passed on don't have any information. Why is that? Why do we not know and go, oh, this is what happened? Why is it all sealed? And now you got someone who's got the key to the box. And now you're understanding why these people are freaking out completely.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is that I mean there's
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
I heard that, and I about pooped myself. It's like, wait a second. Okay, hold on. Y'all got the book? The director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, you actually have the book. You're walking around with the book. You got it under lock and key, which means you know. Think about that. It's on a need-to-know basis. Well, Christopher Wray knows, but we can't know. And Christopher Wray, why haven't you done anything with the names in that book? Oh, because somebody has done something and told you. No, don't go there. You see, people get so compromised because one of the things that people in the media keep saying, well, Kash Patel, Christopher Wray is already a Trump appointee. Well, I'm sure when Trump met him, he's like, you ready to go with this? Yeah. And then all of a sudden he got the knock at the door and said, is this a picture of your wife? Oh, is this a picture of your daughter? Well, I'd be ashamed if something happened to them. That book stays closed. Do I know if that happened? No. But something happened. Something happened when a guy went to his job, told Trump, I'm going to be your guy. I get hired as the director of the FBI. I get a 10-year contract, and then almost instantly after I get that contract, I turn my back on you. And that's happened over and over and over. So why does Trump need loyalists? Because he needs to know there are people who are willing and they're squeaky clean that you ain't got nothing on me. You see, if Kash Patel if people had anything on him, it'd be coming out. I'm sure we're going to hear that when he was 14 and he went to grammar school, he slept with a monkey or something. They make stuff up. You've seen what they've been doing with Pete Hegseth. You know, the woman went to his room, knocked down the door, and said, "Hey, can we get do some horizontal bopping?" Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Come on, man. The playbook is getting old. It's so old. But what's not getting old is the fact that these people have gotten away for decades with letting people know you will not say a word about this. I don't care what happens, you don't speak. And now Kash Patel seems to be one of those guys, they can't quiet. He won't be muzzled.
Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school. Yeah. We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts. That's how they play the game. That's why you don't have a black book. Or
but the black book, it's not just sitting. I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the black book. And not just that.
And this is before Trump ran, and that's exactly what Trump said. These people are screwed.
On day one, roll out all of the text messaging communications we were told were deleted. On day one, play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber. On day, he needs one of the reforms.
Wait. How could he do that? Oh, because he has it all. That's why they're freaking out about Kash Patel. Because you probably think to yourself, well, how could Trump do that? Because he has it all. It's time for us to have none of these kind of secrets. There are going to be certain secrets for national security, but there's some stuff there that is going to be fine. I mean, if the president of XYZ country is on that dude's list, we might not be able to say that because that might be national security. But we need to know the people here. We need to know them right away.
Talk about government gangsters is you need a central node to be continuously declassifying. This is another thing they do. They overclassify. And I'm telling you, as a former number 2 in the IC, they overclassify 50% of the stuff there to protect the deep state. Oh, no, you can't see that. Nothing to see here. Gina was a master at it, of doing it. And we still haven't seen half of the Russiagate report that we wrote. Still under lock and key.
They won't talk about this on the news. They'll just say he's a nut job. He's a what do you call it? Insurrection conspirator. All these kind of things. But you don't want to talk about this at all. You don't want people to know what actually this guy knows
on how the ICA was originally constructed. We put 10,000 man hours against John Brennan's team that did it, and we found out why they came up with their bogus conclusion. But we couldn't sell it to the world because we couldn't talk about it, and the government gangsters came in and buried it. All of these.
I'm telling you, this is going to be biblical. I bet most of you guys watching this didn't go this deep when you heard about Kash Patel. Because now, as I was doing my research before this show, and I'm like, yeah, a lot of people talking, and I'm like, whoa, he knows it. It's what we're going to see over the next couple months are people absolutely freaking out. And when they start freaking out, you have to, at some point, go, they got you, don't they? There's something the deep state has over you. You're terrified of something, because why would you worry? This guy's not going to, if you didn't do anything, why would you care if Kash Patel was the FBI director? He's qualified. He's been in it. He's been in, basically the national security apparatus. He worked there. He knows how it works. I can't imagine if he had to sit, when he has to sit for his confirmation hearings, what are you going to ask him? Because you don't want him giving you the answer. That's the guy I want. in the front line, telling people, here's what I know. And so when you all start screaming and doing your little 5-minute dance, the bottom line is you're going to attack his character. You're going to attack everything, maybe how he cuts his freaking hair. But you can't attack what he knows.
These things, there needs to be a continuing central power, whether it's the White House or offsite, that says every request that comes in, just right out the door, as long as it's not a major threat to national security. Anyway, the other thing that I put in the book that I recommended the boss to do hits on this. We need a 24/7 declassification office.
Yes.
Rolling papers out 24/7.
Yeah, you would have people jumping out the window at that point. It'd be like the transfer portal in college football. You're just going to start posting stuff. Yep, you can just log in anytime and see. We're going to disclose everything. Supposedly, all of these people work for us. We are the bosses. So if we are the bosses, shouldn't we be able to see what's been going on? I personally want to know how Nancy Pelosi made $200 million. I want to know how AOC became a millionaire. I want to know what happened in Dallas in 1963. I want to know what happened to RFK. I think we deserve to know. And the worst part about it is, you've been paying your taxes every single year, and the people you employ have been lying to you, and then just taking more money.
And not just like JFK, and not just 9/11. You're talking to the guy that's read the whole 9/11 report and those 7 pages that people talk about. But I believe, as like the guy who is an intel guy who believes wholeheartedly in the classified system of information, I believe that it has been over-abused by these corrupt officials in government to hide the truth and enact more corrupt activities. So what I told the boss was like, I don't care what you call it, truth and reconciliation, whatever, come up with a better name. But every agency and department literally submits all of their documentation. And I believe you could get half out. Half. I still think the other half needs to remain classified. I'll always argue that it does serve a purpose. But like you're seeing in these documents in the Jack Smith case, they're just redacting stuff that they lied about, that they broke the law.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's used to protect themselves.
And it's a public document in a federal court, which is a document for the people of the United States. And we can have you run that office. You can come in and just be like, hey, I want all the Saudi documents.
I'll gladly do that. I'd be so happy.
Yeah, so Luke will be the press secretary for the Libertarian Party.
The declassifying
the
documenter.
Viceroy of declassification.
Absolutely. I like that.
There you go.
I'm in. You got me.
I have a question. And that question is for each one of you. You can put it in the chat. How many of you don't want to see this information? Because maybe I'm assuming that people want to know, but I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of people who can't take it. I don't want to know that XYZ person was visiting this island. I don't want to know that XYZ person was taking money from so-and-so. I don't want to know. I've held them in such high esteem for so long. It's going to crush me if I find out that this person was this way. Because I'm telling you, it ain't all Democrats. And there's probably some very esteemed Republicans over the last 20 years that have been involved in some of this stuff. So you have to really, really think to yourself, am I okay with most of this stuff coming out? Am I gonna be all right? Is it gonna crush the way I feel about everything when I see this? Is it gonna be like when you found out there was no Santa Claus? And for those of you who don't know, on December 25th, Santa Claus ain't coming. I'm sorry if you got your kids in the room. I shouldn't have said that, but you know. At this point, I would hope you would know that on December 25th, there's no fat guy sliding down the chimney unless he's from some country and he was a newcomer. At this point, you have got to steel yourself. And because many people, and I know there's some older people in the chat here, older people who watch my videos, who have held this government up to be up here for so many years, decades. And what I find interesting that's happening is all this stuff is falling apart around us. Everything that we held dear, I'm like, wait a second, you're telling me there's no Santa Claus? What about, at least we still got the Easter Bunny. That ain't real either? Well, at least I know if I lose a tooth, the tooth fairy is gonna... No tooth fairy? All of it. Everything you know has a chance to be broken in half when this information comes out. So you're going to have to really ask yourself, how much of this do I really want to know? Can you imagine that your country has gotten to the point where we're no better than some of these countries in other parts of the world? We just hide it really well. Or when you find out that we've been doing some of this stuff in other countries and you didn't know. Or people are getting kickbacks. I do think we need to burn the entire pillars down and start over again. I think Trump is that guy, but I just want to know, and I'll look in the chat, what do you think about that?
I sign up.
Yeah. But I think that's how you earn the respect. Like you said, Donald Trump started talking about these things. Then we started putting these documents out there. And remember when I ran Russiagate, right? They came after me and said, if you put out the Nunes memo and you put this out that you wrote, our enemies and our allies are going to get murdered. No one died.
Listen, I think Kash Patel is a very strong nominee.
All right, so in this section of the show, I'm going to go and show you a couple of Republicans who are out there saying we should indeed confirm him.
I think the entire slate of cabinet nominees President Trump has put forward is very strong. I believe every one of these cabinet nominees is going to be confirmed by the Senate. I think Kash Patel is going to be confirmed by the Senate. You look at his background. He has a serious professional background. He was a prosecutor. He was a public defender. He was a senior intelligence staffer on Capitol Hill. He was a senior intelligence staffer in the White House. He was the chief of staff of the Department of Defense. He was the deputy director of national intelligence. And I got to say, all of the weeping and gnashing of teeth, all of the people pulling their hair out are exactly the people who are dismayed about having a real reformer come into the FBI and clean out the corrupted partisans who sadly have burrowed into senior career positions at the FBI. The FBI and the Department of Justice are two institutions incredibly important to the rule of law in the United States. I revere both. And one of the most tragic consequences of 4 years of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is both DOJ and the FBI have been politicized and weaponized. And I think Kash Patel is a very strong nominee to take on the partisan corruption in the FBI.
Now, I have to disagree with Ted Cruz for one reason. He said Biden and Harris. No, it goes way back. It goes way back in terms of how this corruption began. And, the whole thing, how they got rid of Nixon, that's a whole nother thing there. And then, of course, on and on, you guys know who George Bush, his father was. And it's all woven together. That's the kind of thing I think I'm talking about is when I say, there's a lot of people that are going to be caught up in this.
It's Matt Gaetz. I just want to say President Trump made another terrific pick with Kash Patel at FBI. I have seen the mettle of Kash. When he was a staffer in Congress, you had Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, literally threatening Kash and his family with surveillance. I mean, this is a guy who helped expose the Russia hoax. He's been on side against some of the worst abuses of the FISA system. Kash Patel can help clean up all the things that we've seen that are wrong. Kash, we're with you all the way. Do great things, and we've all got your back.
I think Kash does have relevant experience, particularly when it comes to the mandate the American public has assigned of turning these agencies around that have become completely corrupted. Kash has pointed it out. He's probably the best at uncovering what's happened at the FBI, and I look forward to seeing him taking it apart.
Let me read this.
Now, before I get to Marsha Blackburn here, as I watched clips from MSNBC and CBS and some of these they call them news shows, one thing, it became very clear to me. Why wouldn't you want to know the information? You're a journalist, however you define that. And as a journalist, your objective is to basically find the truth. The only thing wrong with Kash Patel is that he is willing to tell the truth and let people see these documents. So why would you, as a media person, why wouldn't you be saying, hey, yeah, I want to see him. I want to know what happened because then I'll write my story, I'll do my show or whatever. Why do you not even want to see it? Why have you not questioned it? You can go back and look at archives. There is no news report on any of those networks, not one. Because I have a database, I can check it out. Not one that has said, yeah, we'd like to see that guy's black book. Isn't that odd? Isn't it odd that there is no news station, including Fox, that has said we need to see this man's black book? So then the question begs, why not? Why is this supposed news, the industry of news, why is it only people like me and other people like Benny and Dan and people who are out there, Patrick Bet David, why is it Joe Rogan? Why is it only people outside the news business who are asking these questions? Are you telling me the people who watch your shows don't care? Really? Really? You think your audience is just so stupid that it never crosses their mind that a woman procured goods and the people who actually bought the goods were never mentioned? Okay. That's how little they think of you.
From President Trump's post, he says, Kash is a brilliant lawyer, investigator, and America First fighter who has spent his career exposing corruption, defending justice, and protecting the American people. So he's being praised on the right for all of that. But of course, the criticism from the left is already starting. They're saying Trump wants a supporter who's going to carry out his demands for specific law enforcement actions. What's your take on it?
Before she gives her answer, I wish somebody had asked me that question. What do you think about that? So you mean a guy who is getting a job and the boss says, here's your job. Do you want this job? Yeah. Okay, so you understand what I'm looking for in this position. Because I don't think any of us have ever gone to an interview and interviewed with a general manager, a CFO, a founder, a president of a company and said, I understand what you want to do, but I'm going to do it my way, okay? I know you're going to pay me well, but I can't be doing it. And I definitely can't come here 5 days a week. And I'm going to need an expense account and a company car. And I'll let you know what I plan on doing here. The news has completely shifted reality. You can't do that anywhere. You can't walk into a job that you're applying for and said, okay, I'm here to be the new marketing guy. Yeah. Well, no, we ain't doing any of that anymore. We're going to do it this way. I know. This is what the job description is. I will take some input from you, but you're going to do my job description. And it seems like these people in the news just don't understand. I'm hiring this guy because that's what I want him to do. That's specifically why he's got this job.
Jackie, I think it is so interesting that those on the left are talking about experience, because Kash Patel has more experience than just about anybody coming into this position. He's been a prosecutor. He's been recognized by DOJ for success in these prosecutions. He has been the deputy DNI. He's been the chief of staff at the Department of Defense. He has a well-rounded background. I look forward to supporting him and pushing this nomination across the finish line. The American people want President Trump's cabinet nominees to be confirmed, and that is the job that we should be doing immediately on January 20th. And
she ain't lying. She's not lying. Let's see. No. I got a video coming out tomorrow that's going to talk about this. I mentioned it before that I think the Democratic party as we know it is done. But now there's something out there with James Carville and David Axelrod both going, I don't think this party can survive. And that, as I've said, there's no leader right now. Nobody. Kamala Harris, Dementia Joe's checked out. There's no Democrat leader. AOC, seriously? Good luck with that. They all have to be very careful. Why? Why would you have to be careful? It's not news, it's opinion, individual opinion. See, the news is very easy. News is show something and let people do their research, and if you're allowed to, and figure out what's going on. But the slant that they make, and that's where the second part is going to be of this show, yeah, we're a little over halfway through, is that the media, it's becoming obvious that they are a tool for the deep state. The Democratic Party has no focus. Not only that, they don't even have a platform. Nope, no leader in sight. I said this too. Hey, Marcus, please run AOC. Please, please, please. I would debate her. It would be easy. AOC couldn't lead the blind. What do we got? JD Vance can't be traveling ghosts. They can't be taken out at the same time. Oh, there are going to be some people getting desperate. That's for sure. I want to know. Somebody says, Red Pill Americans deserve to know the truth. What's done in the dark will eventually see the light of day. Jesus and the light, they need to be exposed. I've seen a bunch of your comments, and you're exactly right. What has happened in the dark is going to come to light, and many of these people don't have God in their lives. And so they're able to do a lot of the stuff that they've done because they don't have that in their lives. And when people start finding out people who have been out there pontificating and talking about Jesus and God, and then you find out what they've been doing, I ain't going to be the person to throw the first stone, but I'm just going to look and go, seriously, bro? Seriously? Is this you? Okay, yeah, we have to talk about that. No mention of truth from the Democrats. No, they can't. They can't even mention truth. I don't know why. As Elon keeps saying, we are the media. Because in order to really assess everything about Kash Patel, you just can't say, oh, he was just nominated and he's not really that good. Well, let's hear from him. There's so much tape out there. Let's hear from him directly. He ain't trying to delete anything. It's all right there. I mean, this morning I saw this from Jack. Andy McCabe says Kash Patel is unqualified to be FBI director. Kash is a former U.S. official, federal prosecutor, private attorney, just like Chris Wray, James Comey, and Robert Mueller. All were the same prior to becoming FBI directors. They've got nothing. Nothing. That's why they keep saying this stuff about not being qualified, because it makes no sense to anybody checking in. Now, you just heard Marsha Blackburn, I forget the other guy's name, and then Ted Cruz all say, come out, hey, we're going to have to support Kash. Elon Musk again has come out and said he will politically oppose any Republican senator who does not vote to confirm Kash Patel as FBI director. You got the richest man in the world drawing a line in the sand and saying, enough. Absolutely enough of this stuff. You guys can't keep doing things the way that you've been doing them and getting away with it. And I agree with him. And people are going to complain and say he's throwing his weight around, he's throwing his money around, it's interference. No, anybody, you or me, could donate to somebody. And so if your political opponent needs some backing, he's saying, I'm going to throw some money at him. You do not need to be in government, but there's an easier way, Elon. Just get these documents out there. Seriously. Just let the documents show everything. I mean, I'm sorry, but if somebody like Lindsey Graham ends up mixed up in some of this stuff, so be it. So be it. I mean, he's a Republican, but I don't know. Just a thought, Barry. Possibly Fox and Friends didn't bring it up only because it didn't want to do the fuel of trashing Kash Patel. Why would they trash him? And I noticed somebody else did something at Newsmax had covered it. That's great. I didn't turn on Newsmax. It's not on my TV, so I couldn't get there. Jeff Curtis says, so much info, Barry. I never knew so much until I've been listening to your show. Thank you. Thank you very much. I try to go deeper. It turns off some people. Some people are like, don't show the left so much, which is interesting because I don't know who said it, but I'm looking at the poll right now. And I put up a poll, and there's 4,800 votes, nearly 5,000 votes, and only 7% of you, so 93% of you said, keep rolling, keep rolling. So in that regard, let's go to phase 2 of tonight. Check this out.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
Yeah, I mean, Tim just used the word preposterous. This is the world we're living in now, of these preposterous and yet extraordinarily dangerous picks. What you see Trump doing, and it's kind of strange to use this word about Donald Trump, but he's methodically appointing people who will completely destroy any limits on his power.
I love watching. See, I'm one who likes to watch the mainstream news because I love the words they use. Not realizing, and as you hear a couple of these clips, this is exactly the platform Donald Trump ran on. He ran on a platform that says go in there and just tear it up. Disrupt, dismantle, destroy. It's time to tear it down. And so what I don't understand, and I guess maybe it's tied together, when I hear people in the media and they have an issue with getting to the bottom of something. Why is it you don't want to get to the bottom of something? Why does that scare you? You're supposed to be a journalist. Why is it afraid? Something you need to be afraid of without knowing why is something happening?
This is just putting foxes in charge of the henhouse at every possible turn. He would have Kash Patel at the FBI, Pam Bondi at the Justice Department. That means that his opponents get investigated.
No, it's not about his opponents. It's an investigation to make sure everything is up on the up and up. If it happens to be an opponent, which by the way, does Trump have an opponent right now? I'm pretty sure there are no opponents. What are you talking about? Joe Biden, I don't think they're going to dig too deep on him because we already know from Robert Hur's report. Remember Robert Hur? You guys remember that report? Do you remember what the report said? The report said he did some dirt, but we can't charge him because he's gonzo. So it doesn't take a leap to go, oh, so he did something. You did find something. Yeah, we found something. Oh, but the only reason you didn't charge him was because his elevator didn't go to the top. That's correct. You know what that's called? That report that said he did some dirt, but we couldn't charge him because he was nutty. Do you know what that's called, Mr. Reporter? That's called evidence. That's called direct evidence. They found out he did something, but he was cuckoo. So they didn't charge him. Which means, you want to know where another crime came? Another crime is, if this is true, we're going to play a little if this then that. If this is true, and the prosecutor said that he was too wacky to stand trial, then everybody who lied after this report and said he was fine and dandy and it was up and one of the smartest guys I know, guess what? All these people lied. Many of them on tape, on film. You can't have it both ways. I don't think a lot of people realize that the special prosecutor said, here are some crimes, but we can't charge him because he wouldn't be able to stand trial. Didn't say there weren't crimes. The crimes were there. Oh, than everybody, including the media, who said he's fine. We haven't seen him smarter than he is right now. He's doing fantastic. They all lied. Whether or not that can be proven, it's evidence that something isn't right. And I think one of the reasons they're covering up because the media kept doing it. Oh, he's okay. Joe's fine. Joe's still president. Everybody who has gone along with this charade of this guy having his faculties together is committing what I would say treason. You're lying to the American people every single day. Everything he signs, everything he says, any action he takes, he's doing it as someone who has already been found to be incapable of standing trial. And what was that, July, June? So for 6 months, you all just nodded ahead and just said, oh, it's fine, it's cool. Yeah, he's fine. You better get in line. Because if that is true, if they can bring in experts or whatever and say, yeah, he was incapacitated. Have you guys thought about that? If they could bring in experts to show he was incapacitated in May or June, and everything he's done since then, you all covered it up. And that's why you kept shipping him over to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware and getting him out of town, because he wasn't right, but you all played along as if he was. That's a crime. That's that's just one document that came out in public. Y'all toast.
And his friends, he and his friends do whatever they want. There's a saying attributed long ago to a Latin American dictator: "For my enemies, for my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law." And that's what you're seeing here. And on top of everything else, as if we have to actually say this, Kash Patel has absolutely no qualification whatsoever.
See how they lie? You see how they lie? Straight up, look into the camera and lie. No qualifications whatsoever. Really. I could show you 1,000-word summation of everything this man has done, but you say none. He's got none.
To be the nation's top law enforcement official at the FBI, none. But his main qualification is absolute servitude to Donald Trump. And, this is just incredibly dangerous. And you're starting to put together, we don't know what will happen with the Hegseth nomination, but you put together Tulsi Gabbard as DNI, John Ratcliffe, another loyalist at CIA, Kash Patel at the FBI, Pam Bondi at Justice. You have the makings of, a not so slow motion authoritarian takeover of the United States government. And people ought to be really concerned about this.
What's so dangerous about it? See, on MSNBC, you can come out and say anything you want because nobody there to check you. But my first question, what's so dangerous? Because they're going to look at these files and going to look at things? Are you on it? Hey, man, I don't know you. I just want to know, are you in that book? Because nothing you just said was factual. Nothing. Everything you just said was a lie. By the way, did you ever write an article about Dementia Joe? No? Did you? Let's go back in your history. How did you know this? When did you know it? These people are screwed.
Number 9.
To this, you have a man who is now nominated to head the Federal Bureau of Investigation that is supposed to uphold the Constitution. The mission is to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution and protect the American people against crimes that are against U.S. laws. Where does all of this fit in with January 6th? January 6th is the juxtaposition of the Constitution.
He wasn't the Attorney General during January 6th. He was never charged with anything to do with January 6th. Why in the hell does January 6th have anything to do with Kash Patel's nomination? What are you saying, April? I don't understand.
They think it was treasonous. And for him to be one of the conspirators, this is now...
So... She just vomited all over MSNBC and said he was a conspirator to January 6th. Really, April? Do you got anything to back that up other than the fact that you're allowed to say it on MSNBC? A conspirator. Wow, that's a really big word. It's almost defamatory. You're saying that he conspired for something to happen on January 6th.
Now left to the court of public opinion, because you're going to have a lot of senators, Republican senators, who are loyal to President-elect Donald Trump. And they will close an eye, turn ahead, and then there might be others who say things, but the issue is the American public is going to...
So again, she wants people who aren't loyal. See, the idea is to make sure you put together a cabinet of people who aren't loyal to you. That's what the left wants. These people are batshit crazy. I mean, absolutely nuts.
Be the one that has to speak. And we saw what happened with Matt Gaetz. The court of public opinion pushed Matt Gaetz to say, look, I don't want to be a distraction. The question is...
I'm telling you, these people are going to eat their words. They think they took a scalp with Matt Gaetz. I think they're going to find out that was a trick. They think they did it. Now they want to do it again.
Will this be along that same line, making Kash Patel a distraction for Donald Trump?
Number 8.
Kash Patel displays the one thing Donald Trump cares about, which is loyalty. He has been through with Trump, by his side, thick and thin, since before he was even a part of the administration. In 2017, he was on the House Intelligence Committee staff. He was looking into claims of the Russia investigation being a deep state plot. That went nowhere. He got moved over.
No, it didn't go nowhere. And it's hard to really, I don't know, take any credence from you when you show up on a national news network and you ain't even comb your hair, bro.
To the National Security Council in the White House, where he was part of the plot to basically blackmail Ukraine. Trump was at one point convinced he was running Ukraine policy, even though he wasn't. He got shuffled over to the Director of National Intelligence. He got shuffled over to the Pentagon. And since leaving the administration, he has been a loyalist at a pro-Trump think tank run by Russ.
You're seeing the theme. So, and I'm only showing it to you so you can see it happening over and over and over and over. They want to make you think that being loyal is bad. I don't know how they live their personal lives. I really don't. Because you must surround yourself with a bunch of people who don't give a shit about you. Because if loyalty is bad, then you don't have friends. This is beyond communist and Marxist. It's about the collective. They don't believe in anything. And so they just sit there and lie and lie and lie and just keep spewing it. And they're just the point they're trying to make is that Trump only wants loyal people. And I'm thinking to myself, is that a bad thing? My wife is loyal. I'm loyal to her. My dog is loyal. What do you mean? I wouldn't want a dog that's biting on my heels every time I turn around. I wouldn't want friends that I couldn't trust. And so here we are in the most important job in the world, and you're upset that someone is loyal?
Who has been tapped to become OMB director. Kash Patel as FBI director would be like if you crossed Alex Jones with J. Edgar Hoover in terms of just how much he would want to ignore precedent and the constraints that have been put onto the FBI over the years. With all of the conspiracy theorizing, all of the eagerness to fan the flames of the worst instincts of President Trump put into power, those two things should never mix. Kash Patel has them both, and he is a couple of votes away from that happening once he's put before the Senate.
I let him finish there so you guys could hear him go on for like 10 or 15 seconds and say absolutely nothing. And it has to make you wonder, who watches this drivel? And someone had sent me a direct message on X, or was it an email? And it said, I don't know what to do. My mom is 75 years old and she listens to this stuff and she believes it. Well, go over and turn it off and put on Golden Girls or something. it's all meant, to basically brainwash people. Ask your grandmom or your mom, does she realize that Dementia Joe is demented? Because if you can't understand the most basic of things, then you know you're being gaslit and being told lies.
Number 7.
Is there enough backbone there, do you think, to defeat multiple nominees?
I don't know. I think it's possible. And look, we saw it with Matt Gaetz already, and I think that I was actually surprised how quickly that happened. To me, Kash Patel, and I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our democracy. I mean, you might think that having Pete Hegseth running the military is a greater level of danger because of his lack of experience, or Tulsi Gabbard at intelligence. But just as far as, the threats to democracy that we were...
Said it twice now. You haven't defined it. How is there a threat to democracy? Everybody just voted. Most votes, I think, ever. So where's the threat to democracy that you guys spew all the time?
Warning up about before the election. And Kash Patel was a key player inside the Trump White House, pushing for and orchestrating the coup attempt in 2020. He was trying to completely take control of the Justice Department at the time. He was Trump's top lieutenant who was willing to do anything and advance any lie in service of his attempt to overturn that last election.
So what you're seeing, because I wanted to get to this point where I could talk to you, is the Democrats have no leadership, they have no vision, they have no platform, they have nothing. They just got butt stomped in an election, and everything they're saying is based upon the past. We are terrified because of January 6th. We are terrified because of a coup. We are well, it's a different world right now. How about right now moving forward? What you got? What's your alternative? Is there anybody that you would approve that Donald Trump would nominate? Because I don't think it would matter if he nominated Mr. Rogers. You're going to find something wrong with anybody. They have to. That's all they have at this point is, quote, resistance. We're the resistance. It's futile. The man won in a landslide. He told you what his platform was. His platform was to disrupt and destroy and dismantle and obliterate the deep state. Did you think he was kidding? We didn't. And obviously, and here's the part that hasn't sunk into them yet, if we voted for all of this and you couldn't get up enough votes to basically, beat him, you're irrelevant. Nobody cares what you have to say anymore. You couldn't help Kamala beat him. All you did is complain and whine and bitch for months and months and months, and now you're doing exactly the same thing. I think there's a definition for that. Doing the exact same thing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity. And we know it because we're out there shaving their heads and doing everything else. People are looking at you guys like farm animals. Like, what the hell are you people doing? And now it's reached into the upper regions of our media who have nothing to offer people. Tell us why you feel it's a threat to democracy. Tell us why you think he's not a good candidate. Because he's loyal? That makes him a bad candidate? That's actually something we want. And you lost because you didn't think that was important. So where are you people?
To such a degree that there were many people that were Trump appointees in 2020 who were staying around and saying no, like standing in the breach and saying no, not Kash Patel. Like you.
In 2020? It's 2024 right now. I just checked. You got to come up with something better than that, bro. To sit here complaining about 2020. It's 2024. Trump won in a landslide. You got anything for us? Seriously.
Cannot put Kash Patel as a temporary leader of the Justice Department, et cetera. These are Trump appointees. And so, I will see what happens in the Senate. But if Trump had people around him that were quasi-loyalists that were like, that guy's too far, who knows what that'll mean for the Senate.
Number 6.
That Donald Trump intends to nominate Kash Patel.
Okay. you really got to listen close here. Remember, Jamie Raskin was the guy who said, we're going to make sure Trump doesn't get in. He made a big statement. Oh, we're going to make sure he doesn't get in. Now he's going to say something really stupid.
To be the FBI director, which of course implies that he's going to fire the sitting FBI director, Christopher Wray. What is your reaction? What are the implications?
Well, Christopher Wray, of course, is a Republican, appointed by a Republican, as he has said, but apparently has demonstrated too much independence and objectivity in the job for Donald Trump, who wants much more of a personal loyalist in the position. And that's why.
There it goes again. Loyalty.
He's gone to Kash Patel.
Do you think there are any issues inside the FBI around politicization, as many who voted for Donald Trump seem to say?
Well, undoubtedly, if you look at it historically, for example, during the COINTELPRO period, the FBI really was weaponized against Dr. King and the civil rights movement and the peace movement. There was, decades of the FBI being basically used as a political instrument. There's an interesting book about that, about J. Edgar Hoover by Beverly Gage, that people can look at. And so I haven't seen what the truth is that the FBI has been weaponized against a political party or the Department of Justice.
Go back and look at some of Casey Hunt's, some of her own coverage. Maybe dial it back and to watch something called the Mar-a-Lago raid. Perhaps that would jar your memory. Just saying. Maybe you could ask Steve Bannon. Maybe you could ask Peter Navarro. Maybe you could ask Rudy Giuliani. Maybe you could ask a whole bunch of people who got bankrupted because the FBI and the Department of Justice went after them. You haven't seen any evidence? You're obtuse.
Of course, this Department of Justice has brought charges against a Democratic U.S. Senator in New Jersey, a Democratic congressman in Texas. And so some people just seem to think that it should go only in one direction. And if it doesn't, then somehow it's
Listen to this.
Politicized. And I think that's what they mean when they talk about politicization in the deep state. The deep state, nobody's ever defined it. Apparently it just means anybody who doesn't do the will of Donald Trump.
So nobody has ever defined the deep state. It's a ghost. It's a unicorn. It's just out there. Nobody knows. It's just Donald Trump talking about the deep state. Has nobody ever talked about the deep state doing stuff to people? Maybe Jamie should walk down the hall, because I'm pretty sure somebody did.
Well, you take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
In the deep state, nobody's ever defined it. Apparently it just means anybody who doesn't do the will of Donald Trump.
So Chuck Schumer said, hey, man, the intelligence community, i.e. deep state, is really pissed off at you. And they got 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. I'm sorry. I thought they worked for the president, rather America, but they directed by the president. You guys remember when he said that? Yeah, it's kind of just been put out there so nobody can see it anymore. I had a copy of it. Yeah, the intelligence community will come at you 6 ways from Sunday if you piss them off. You don't want to do that. Really? So if that's a known thing in the government, if the Senate leader, Chuck Schumer, knows that you don't go pissing off the intelligence community. Oh no, hey, don't go there. So didn't he just tell us what has happened over the last couple decades? Did he not just spill the beans? Did people not realize when he said that then, he was telling people what the deep state does? Jamie Raskin's still trying to cover for them. Oh, yeah, I've never seen any evidence. Well, obviously Chucky has. Chucky must be talking. He's chummy with them because I've heard they're really pissed off at him. Hey, Chuck, who spoke to you and said that? Who in this intelligence community, i.e. deep state, who came up to you and said, and we're really pissed at him? Did you ever get that conversation, Chuck? Did they ever come to you and go, shut up? We got 6 ways of Sunday coming after you. Who else got that talk, Chucky? Who else knows don't piss off the intelligence community? Because it seemed to be something just flowed out your mouth, and even Rachel Maddow said, well, what exactly can they do? You see, she was caught by surprise and actually started to do some actual journalism. It caught her. Said, what do you mean? What can the intelligence community do? I think that needs to be dug into by all kinds of people. You just admitted, and this was a couple years ago, you admitted on television during an interview with Rachel Maddow that the intelligence community can come after you 6 ways from Sunday. Forget the 6 ways. Tell me one of the things they do to you, Chuck. You seem to know. Why did that one piece of that interview get completely buried by so many people? Because to me, that should have been front page news. Chuck Schumer says the intelligence community is basically running their own shit, and they will come after you any way they can. 6 ways from Sunday. And they're pissed at Donald Trump. I didn't say it. I just showed it to you. Many of you have probably seen it before, but now you take it into context of what you've seen and what you haven't seen. Did somebody in 1963 piss off the intelligence community 6 ways from Sunday? In 1968, did a couple people piss off the intelligence community 6 ways from Sunday? July 13th, did somebody piss off the intelligence community 6 ways from Sunday? We'd love to know, Chucky. We would definitely love to know, because that right there, that definition, that description you gave is the entire reason why somebody like Kash Patel is needed. They obviously have too much power. Your own words, you convicted them. If they can do rogue shit and they come after you 6 ways from Sunday, they need to be broken up. Am I still live? Am I still talking? Think about that. Think about that. He knows, which means many of them know. Shut up. If you step out of line, someone had to tell him. It's chilling when you think about it, that somebody said to him, or a group of people or whatever said, or maybe he's seen it in action. Maybe he was around in 1963 or 1968. Maybe as a young politician, he went, I don't want to piss these guys off. Well, these guys work for the president. And you just admitted they have so much power, they will F you up. That's why they need to be taken down.
Number 5.
Look, I don't think the American people are interested in a revenge tour. But obviously, if people did wrong in their official capacities, then that's something they should be concerned about. But if they didn't do anything wrong, if they upheld the law, then there shouldn't be a problem. The objective here, obviously, is to reform the Department of Justice and the FBI and get it back to its mission of...
She didn't like that answer. Yeah, she I would say she was sitting on squishy underwear, but she don't like that answer whatsoever. Like, oh my God.
Going after criminals. Growing up in New York, the FBI in the aftermath of 9/11 was focused on going after terrorism. And obviously in recent years, we've seen the FBI and the Department of Justice weaponized in a way that it has become completely political. That's not good for the American people. It's not good for our system of justice. The lack of confidence that Americans have in the Department of Justice and the FBI is terrible. And so obviously we want a system that is reformed, that works for the American people, and that...
Now, understand, she's got longer hair than me, obviously. But she's got an earpiece. She's got an earpiece in, and her hair's combed over her earpiece. And right now, someone's telling her in her ear, oh no, just get this guy off. Cut it. Do whatever you need to do. Be done with him because he's tearing you apart right here. And by the way, you look really uncomfortable.
Prosecutes criminals. And that should be the objective and the goal of every American. And obviously that's what my hope is as the Department of Justice moves forward under Pam Bondi and the FBI under Kash Patel.
Shouldn't that, his last piece that he said there, shouldn't that be the goal of everybody in America? Do the right thing. Don't worry about the intelligence community having 6 ways from Sunday to get you. Do the right thing. If you didn't do anything wrong, why should you worry? Pretty simple.
4.
They have promised, Jonathan, that this next term, the Trump second term, they will have people there who will execute every one of Trump's orders and demands. And they have promised that they, well, you know, Bannon and Kash Patel just looked at the camera and said they were coming after us. They have promised we will not miss next time. We will find our targets and we will throw them in jail.
And that includes Morning Joe. And you're right, this time around.
Number 3.
And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes.
In the media. Could that be why Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, Morning Joe crew, headed down to Mar-a-Lago? Could that be why they said, oh, hey, yeah, we know we're sorry. We didn't mean to. I know for the last 4 years we've been trashing you, but we want to get better. We want to do things the right way. Please. No deals. No deals, Cash.
We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators.
I just understand you're not going to hide behind your cloaks. We're coming for you too. You are corrupt. What you allowed to happen in that D.C. courtroom and what you allowed to do to these J6 people and send these to prison, Benny Thompson, you're corrupt. Liz Cheney, you're corrupt. Preserve your documents because we're coming after you. You people are criminals. And you put people that didn't have the money to defend themselves, you put them in prison and you destroyed their lives and you tried to break them. You got a 70-year-old Gold Star mother in a prison in Colorado right now.
I don't know if you guys have seen my interview with Kimberly Wargo. Great woman, patriot. Put her in jail for 14 days. That's on Rumble because I couldn't dare put it here. But I know exactly what he's talking about because I talked to that woman. She was just there. And you ruined her life. She's got 3 more years actually another 1.5 years of probation. Shame on you.
Okay? In a prison in Colorado, totally made up charges. You people are revolting. You're disgusting. And Damon Williams and Jack Smith, you can quit and run. Andrew Weissman, you can run wherever you're going to run. The long arm of the law is going to track you down, and you're going to be held accountable.
Now, see, I don't have a problem with that. If the evidence is there that shows that there's possibility that a crime was committed, and a crime isn't necessarily prosecuting somebody. You know, if they're Kimberly shouldn't have been in the Capitol. I get it. She was trespassing. I get it. But a first-time offender with no criminal history, who is in and out in like an hour, gets more time in jail than some of these newcomers, there's something wrong with that. And she still got another 1.5 years of probation and can't leave the state? Are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
2.
Andrew, I just want to start first with you and just get your reaction to this news tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible development for the men and women of the
Okay, just so you know, this is Andy McCabe. the disgraced Andy McCabe. Andy McCabe, who was basically fired from the FBI because of the crap that he did, who then went to CNN and got a job paying him a whole bunch of money. Yeah, that's something I think we need to dig into. How do these people all of a sudden get jobs on networks? If this guy showed up at your network or your place of business and it's like, oh, you got charged with this, you got charged with that. Oh, I see what, you're going to hire him to a big old salary? How can you take anything coming out of his mouth for real? But CNN puts him on air to now pontificate as though he knows how the FBI actually works.
Yeah, and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation. The fact that Kash Patel is profoundly unqualified for this job is not even like a matter for debate. So I think what we should really be thinking about right now is, what does this signal in terms of Donald Trump's intent for the FBI? The installation, or the nomination, I guess we should say at this point, of Kash Patel as FBI director can only possibly be a plan to disrupt, to dismantle, to distract.
Surprised? I mean, when he said that, and he's sitting on CNN, and I'm thinking, did you not hear anything he said over the last 2 years? Did you not hear anything Steve Bannon or Kash Patel said? But forget them. Did you not listen to anything Trump said? Trump said, I want to tear it down. I want to obliterate the deep state. And we all said, pull the lever. That's the guy we want. And so even right now, after the election's over, they're not accepting that this is why Trump won. You're talking to your audience and giving an excuse as to why Kash Patel couldn't be the right guy, because he wants to dismantle and disrupt and destroy the FBI. Yeah, that's what he said. That's exactly what Donald Trump said. What are you surprised about? You lost, he won, he told you this is what he was going to do. This is one of the things where I say they don't have any leadership whatsoever, because you had to have known this was coming. We did. We were just wondering. We were like, hey, did he nominate Kash Patel yet? Did he nominate Kash Patel? We know it was coming. We weren't surprised. We won't be surprised if Dan Bongino is the Secret Service director. We knew his objective was to destroy you people. But you don't seem to think he was serious. I don't understand why.
Act the FBI and to possibly use it as a tool for the president's political agenda. And, you know, as an organization, we know what that looks like. This country has been there before, right? The pre-Watergate FBI, the J. Edgar Hoover FBI, struck fear in the hearts of Americans across the spectrum of politicians, people in...
Fear? I'm pretty sure Chuck Schumer said the intelligence community could come at you 6 ways from Sunday. Pretty sure that's fear. So now you're saying it's not like that anymore. Really? Ask Kim Wargo. Ask 1,500 people who were put in jail because of January 6th, if that fear doesn't still prevail.
Entertainment, people in the civil rights community, because the director operated at the direction of presidents to collect political intelligence and to utilize the legal authorities, the investigative authorities of the FBI to terrorize and intimidate Americans. So the question is that where we're going back to with this nomination? I would argue that Kash Patel would be the perfect person for Donald Trump to nominate if that's in fact his intent for the FBI.
Thank you. Thank you. Then he's the perfect person and he needs to be confirmed. Everything you spent your time talking about is specifically why he picked Kash Patel. There's no equivocation. I want you to go in there and tear this down. I showed you videos earlier where Kash Patel was like, all I need is 20 people in a skiff. I don't need 7,000 of these people. Get out there and go do some work. That's called disruption. He hasn't hit it for years. The videos I've showed you are things that Kash Patel has said to people for quite some time. And so all of us who knew and were waiting with bated breath for that, did he do it yet? Did he do it? Oh, not yet. Okay. As soon as he did it, we're like, yes, because we all knew.
Number 1.
Let's talk about former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe. He was fired. He was fired for leaking information to the media. The Inspector General of the Department of Justice referred him for criminal prosecution. He is one of the top people who has destroyed the reputation of the FBI over the past 10 years. There's been no accountability for him, and he calls the current nominee unqualified. Well, let's take a look at Kash Patel's qualifications. He was the Deputy Director of National Intelligence, overseeing 17 intelligence agencies. He was in the Department of Justice under Barack Obama, prosecuting ISIS.
Shh. You're not supposed to tell people this. You're supposed to just let people say he's unqualified. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, please. Shh.
During the Trump administration, the first time around, he was in charge of taking out ISIS cells in the Middle East, what the administration did successfully. So he has the domestic policy, or the foreign policy down. On the domestic side, he's the one who wrote that memo exposing the fact that the FBI was illegally wiretapping, issuing FISA warrants against American citizens who worked for a political campaign.
I love when they freeze. Look at the Democrat guy, Richard, forget his name. But, the anti-Trump guy sitting there, and he's got that look on his face like, there's nothing I can say about this. They always look like they just sat on a pineapple or something. Like, I can't, there's nothing I can say.
The first Trump campaign. He has gone through and exposed all of the civil liberty violations the FBI has engaged in with, again, no accountability over the past really 10 years. And this started at the IRS under Barack Obama, by the way. It wasn't just in the FBI. So people like Andrew McCabe are trying to claim this is some kind of retribution. They're conflating retribution with accountability. And Kash Patel not only has the experience on foreign policy, but also on domestic policy as well, with all of his work rooting out this corruption used for political purposes against political enemies inside the intelligence communities and on Capitol Hill.
Confusing retribution with accountability. I'm fine with the word retribution. If it's okay for people to know that the intelligence community can come after you 6 ways from Sunday, then they deserve retribution. It needs to be broken up. And I'm pretty sure that everybody watching this video feels exactly the same way. Why do I know that? Because you wouldn't have voted for him. None of what you've heard today is a surprise to you. Maybe some of the stuff in Kash Patel's background and hearing the different things and how deep he's been involved, just listening to those videos tells you the man's qualified. Just going back and listening at his history and what he has said, that tells you he's qualified. You see, these talking heads on television, they don't do research. They read whatever is on the screen in front of them, and that's it. And then they bring in these experts who just blah, 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 unqualified. He's too loyal. I'm telling you, this is what we paid for. This is the price of admission. Get your popcorn ready. It's only December 1st. Get your popcorn, store up on it, because we got a long way to go. A long way to go. And so much is happening, and they don't have any answer. All they can do is scream and whine and bitch and moan and blah, 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 blah. I did get a note here from SV, one of the mods, that people were trying to sign up for the hoodies, and while they were trying to sign up, they said, hey, it ended. And so I've got to go back in here and let's see here, fix it so that you guys can actually enter again. I'm doing it right now. Manage entries. And got to go back in here. So bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be here in 1 second so that we can do some more. Okay, yeah, I had it ending on. Okay, 1 second. Hit cancel. Okay, it ended. Let me go ahead and change that to the 31st. and you should be able to enter again. Let me just make sure. So basically what had happened was I had it only running for a short period of time. Not a short period of time, but like a month in advance. But if you want to go here and enter, you can go there. It should be working right now. And if not, I will get it done after the show. So don't go, wait a minute, it's a different thing. So I've got to go to my other page to get that done. My bad. But we're still going to give away some hoodies. We're still going to give away some because some of the people who are already in the already registered, I still got to give them their hoodies. So let me just go ahead and make sure I've got enough available, and yeah, we're good. All right. So sorry if you couldn't enter yet, but there are people who have entered, and we're going to give away 3 hoodies right now. So let me pull this back up. But I promise after today's show, tomorrow it'll be you can register again. So let's go here and let me pick this over. All right. So we're going to pick one. And Jill Martinez, you have won a free Trump hoodie. We're going to do it again. Pick another winner, number 2. And this is to Terry Welch. Terry Welch, you have won you have won a hoodie. And the third one for today, let's go ahead and click the button. Laura Light. So sorry you couldn't enter if you haven't entered, but if you have entered, your name is in the database, so don't worry. You're still in there to win. My bad. December 1st is today. I had it ending on November 30th. I'll get it fixed. Somebody said drum roll again, and I'm like, oh, good gosh, I didn't do Tommy's drum roll. Let me. Tommy made a real drum roll actually. Let me just see if I have it here. And I didn't play it, so I apologize. All right, congratulations everyone. It doesn't work it's not. It doesn't work. I've got to do it after the show because it would take me 5 minutes to get into all the different places to do it. No drums. I just played the drums. I just played them. Play them again. My bad. So I had forgot to hit the button. Let's see here. Congratulations to all the winners. I got the drum roll ready. So let me go ahead and check out the super chats. Oh, before I go super chats, if you'd like to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group, and it'll take you over to the X group. We're 11,000 plus. I believe we're up to like almost 11.3 or 11.4 at this point. People are signing up left and right. Love to have you. All right. Let me see here. My bad. I didn't have the thing enabled. That was my fault. I can't blame it on anybody. I am a one man. Well, no, I've got a bunch of mods, but they don't do that part. Thank you, Tom Chow. RBI Sports. Winners train, losers complain. All I have heard from Swamp and fake news since November 5th is complaining. That's it. That's all they got. Denise Voorhees. Love your show. One a day isn't enough. When is the border agent interview coming out, and where is JD? Don't know where JD is, but we're past the Thanksgiving holidays. Tomorrow's Monday, and we go back to 2 a days. Actually, there's probably going to be 3 tomorrow. I'm going to post the border agent interview probably about 11 o'clock tomorrow on Rumble. And I'll probably do like a live premiere where it's like live and I can talk to you in between. And then, of course, 3:30 and then 7 or 7:30 as well. So we're back to normal tomorrow. We want the truth and the whole truth, so help us God. Yeah, and I think that last part is a big part of it. If you don't have God in your life, you don't care about the truth. Keep setting those prayers up. Yep, absolutely. Thank you. Born on the 4th. I was a freelance reporter during the 80s who regularly compared my work against the competition. I thought the lying was bad then. Honest investigating, it's really bad now. It's really bad. Let's hear from Stephen Morris. Thank you, Stephen. Very nice. There's going to be a big wreck in Washington, and Kash Patel is driving the car. They can't stop it. I can't wait till he starts doing the recess appointments. They can't stop it. I hope Trump and all of his people have a bit PRF bubble to walk around in. The left isn't going to just let this happen. Yeah, I believe that we're going to see a lot of crap happening. They're freaking out. They got nothing. Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. Anthony Semino, thank you very much. Yeah, that's something I'm a little bit concerned about for some people because it's going to get bad. Donna Gibson, appreciate all that you shared. By the way, Fox covered Kash story last night and again this morning on Fox Business. I was talking about Fox News in terms of with Will Cain and what's his name? Joey and the woman, Campos. Sharon Clem, Barry, I've heard people say that the leftist news networks have actually been training their reporters to be activists to promote. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. You can see them. And right now they've got no marching orders, so all they're saying is loyalists and co-conspirators. Lori Tidwell, I want to know what was in the envelopes at Bush's senior's funeral. Yeah, that would be nice to know. Not just what was in them, who pushed them out there. Mountain Goddess, I've grieved already over our government. I'm ready for complete transparency. Yep, it's going to be ugly. Grandma Lynn, sometimes it seems like we are in the Truman Show. Doesn't it? It really does. Nathan Fleming, I want the MLK files. All these files. Love to know what our government's been involved in. You know, it's time for accountability on all levels. Our secrets is what makes us sick. Even on a national level, accountability is important to healing. Yeah, Fanfare Rocks, thank you very much. Like I said, some of the stuff we may not be able to handle. Barry, who's protecting our Avengers? I'm thinking that a combination of, at this point, Secret Service and private protection as well. I'm pretty sure Elon has the best. Tin Lay, imagine hearing the military corruption and the next time you want to tell someone thank you for your service. Hold on a second. Told you I got a cold. Viking King, I want to know the American public has the right to know. Yes, I agree with you. Doc Fender, thank you very much. Yeah, I believe we have a right to know. If we choose not to want to know, it's one thing, but just keeping it from us, I think is wrong. Jody Smith, now they can up the truth to who was behind the MLK. Yeah, I agree with you. We know. I think we know, but we need a confirmation. Mr. Krabs, it's always snowing at Hunter Biden's house. TL, hope we all have protection from being unalived. I've been hearing a lot more lately. This no income tax thing is starting to pick up some serious steam. A lot of people are talking about no income tax. If they can't tax us, I think it really screws up a lot of what they would like to do. Barry, thank you very much. All you do keeps us up to date. Bless you, thank you. KRO Civics 101 presented by Barry. Virginia Lem. Oh, Barry, thank you so much for being here for me and thousands of others, delivering the absolute best news and opinions. The amount of research you do daily is evident. Thank you very much, because I do dig to try and put something together. Chris M, keep Trump, his family, and the cabinet members safe is a huge challenge. I completely agree with that. Wait a second. What did I miss here? Paddlefoot. I got that one. KRO. Got that one. Virginia Lemon. Got that one. Keith Olson, Barry for press secretary. No, I don't want to work in Washington. Sandra J.G. Thompson, Biden forged Kash weapons. Way to go, Kash. Yeah, all this stuff that they're going to have available to them because someone else used it. President is a MFer. Keith Olson, Barry's awesome. I've been watching you ever since I watched you in July. Thank you very much. Wow, Tanya, thank you. Awesome. Cash. Thank you very much, Tanya. That's very nice of you. Especially when I never know what they're going to turn things, not let it be done here. Mr. Mike, the liberals and Rhino allies remind me of the evil one. They've come here to cheat, steal, and destroy our nation and basically feed off us. Sort of like the Matrix. Yeah. Without accountability this term, there is no justice. Love the show. You are absolutely right. Wow. Christine Engels. Yeah, we're going to do another, I think hopefully this Thursday, we're going to go ahead and do another prayer vigil this Thursday. I'm going to see if JJ is available, we'll go ahead and do that. So thank you, and I will let Ashley know that as well. Super chat from Dennis Pope. Thank you very much. And I think that's it. Let me just go back to the beginning. This one is from Lemon714. Glad I could catch you live. It's a great community. I love this community. Merry Christmas. Yes, been saying that a lot lately. Merry Christmas. Barry, do you have an email you can be contacted at? Yes, one of the mods can probably push that out to you. If you could, please, one of you guys. Tom Chow, thank you very, very much. All right, that's everybody. All right, so it's Sunday evening. It's 5:41. Hope you guys all have a great rest of the evening. This outro has some blinking lights, and people have told me I should warn people who are susceptible to seizures. So if you are, don't watch the outro. See you tomorrow, and look for the Border Patrol agent's interview to be posted on Rumble at about 11:30 tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.